miss The Devil Wears Prada 2 in cinemas.
Miranda, hi.
Pull yourself together. We have work to do. And by we, I mean you.
Meryl Streep, Anne Hathaway, Emily Blunt, and Stanley Tucci are back
Oh-de-da.
on April 30.
Look what TJ Maxx dragged in.
I am the new features editor at Runway.
No, you are not.
Icons reign forever.
Cheers. Wait. I hope to God that's not what you're wearing to the dinner. That's all.
Get tickets now. The Devil Wears Prada 2. Only in cinemas April 30. Directed by David Frankel.
This podcast is brought to you by Australia's LGBTQIA+ community media organisation, Joy.
We acknowledge the traditional owners of the land, the Boonwurrung people of the Kulin Nation. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging, and Aboriginal people who are listening. We acknowledge that sovereignty was never ceded.
Welcome to Still Here, Still Queer, the show that celebrates the fierce, funny and fabulous lives of our rainbow elders. Each week we share stories, music and conversations that honour our rich history, challenge ageism and spark connection across generations. Whether you're a proud elder, a curious ally or just here for the glitter and wisdom, welcome. We're still here, still queer, and we're not going anywhere.
And good evening and welcome to Joy 94.9 and to Still Here, Still Queer, the show for plus 55-year-old queer people. And tonight we're sitting with a question that's simple on the surface. We're going to do another panel, but gets deeper the longer you hold it. What does joy look like as we grow old? No, not the radio station, us as people. Because aging, it's a bit of a funny thing. Our bodies might slow down, creak and a little bit, creak and... Hang on, I was just readjusting something then. Creak a little bit more, one of my creaks, and ask us to renegotiate what's possible. But at the same time, something else often opens up. A different kind of joy, quieter perhaps, much richer, more grounded, hard won. So tonight we're exploring what it really means to be growing old with joy, how it changes, where it comes from, and what it asks of us along the way. And so tonight we have a queer panel, all over 70. Sorry about that, I just gave your ages away. To discuss joy as we age. We've got Robert Gibson, a retired journalist. Hello, Robert.
Good evening, and how are you?
I'm well.
I'm glad you gave my age out. I don't look it, do I?
Absolutely not. And we have Bartley McGowan, a retired social worker. So welcome, Bartley.
Hi, Pete. Hi, Robert. Hi, Joy listeners.
Thanks, Bartley. And so the first question we're going to talk about as a panel of queer elders is... how has your understanding of joy changed as you've gotten older, and was there a moment when you realised it wasn't quite the same as it used to be? So the real question is, what is joy now, and how has your understanding of joy changed as you've gotten older? Who wants to go first? Robert stuck his hand up like he was in school class.
Because Bartley's getting all the adulation. I didn't even make the promo before the show started.
You didn't? No.
I was cut before I even said anything.
So, tell us, how does joy change?
What is joy would be my first question.
Yeah,
how do you define joy?
Yep.
I think joy could be something to everybody, could be a different thing to everybody. So joy to me is probably akin to happiness.
Right.
So in that context, I guess... the biggest change was when I came out.
Yep.
But that's a long time ago. And that, I think that changed my happiness level, if you look at it in that context, or my joy level, if you want to call it that. I just feel a bit funny saying joy. I feel like it's a Christmas carol, joy to the world. I know it's a radio station call sign, but it is a funny word. It could be construed in many ways.
Yeah. You could tell, we say it all the time, of course. Joy, joy, joy.
And I sing joy to the world all the time.
Yes. Has it changed, though, as you've gotten older?
Of course.
Happiness. Happiness or joy?
Yes, of course.
And how has it changed?
I think it's changed because of my confidence in being gay. I think that helped a lot. Once I liked myself, once you get over that hump of being in the closet, and then all of a sudden, oh my God, there's a whole community out there. There's a whole lifestyle out there.
Right.
You start seeing your own community on media, on television, way back. And I think that helps.
Okay. How about you, Bartley? What has
Yes.
happened to Joy to you over your years and as you've gotten older?
I think I've always looked out for joy all through my life, but as I've got older, I think I'm more acutely aware of that I see every interaction I have in cafes or shops or airline desks or anything as a way to engage with the people opposite me and establish a bit of a rapport, and that gives me a lot of joy, yeah.
So interacting with people is important.
Yeah,
obviously.
very important. And friends, yeah, I think in my younger days I took it for granted, didn't really appreciate how important it was. But now with my aging decades, I really value my friends and do my best to maintain my friendship networks and get a lot of pleasure out of that. And I know it's good for my mental health and well-being.
I'd back him up.
Yeah.
Thanks,
by
Robert.
saying,
I would too. Friends.
we've
Yeah.
never met before. I'm Robert. I joke, I know Bart, and adore him like all of us do.
And friends are often important. So
I think it's vital. I think that's your rich. I think if I'm going to pinpoint anything, once I realised that my friends were my wealth, then they become family. They become everything that's important to you. So I think that's a really good point, that friendships are, if you're going to survive this journey being queer, then having a very strong friendship base then gives you the confidence to be able to tackle the ups and downs that we all know coming. The only thing that we all have in common is coming out. Otherwise, we're like a fingerprint, the gay community, the queer community. So I'd say I really back your point.
Yeah. And I agree with the point you just made, that
look,
the whole
this is
process that we got.
Such a loving panel, isn't it?
Oh, we're all full of joy
Very,
here.
very important as queer people to have friends and maintain them and help us.
I think the three of us
Grow
are
and
good
develop.
examples.
Yeah,
aren't we?
yes, yeah, definitely.
And of course, a lot of our families have passed away by this stage, our parents at least, and the next generation up have passed away by the time you get to our age. So, not always, but mostly.
It's a miracle that we're here
Yeah.
in many ways.
That has an impact on me as well in a joyous sense, because I can be more myself now than I ever could be when I was younger. So that's a really important point for me, that as we grow older, people disappear, friends change, and friends become much more important, and family perhaps less important for me.
But there's also acceptance. Once you start getting acceptance, that is joyful, or that is a good news story.
Yeah.
And I think as you get older, the acceptance and I suppose your tolerance for discrimination becomes, if anything, heightened, because you're not going to tolerate anymore. I'm not going backwards, I'm only going forwards.
Yep. And often, I know I went into a relationship 27 years ago, and that has...
Don't
sitting
talk
behind
about
me,
him. We don't talk about him.
No, but that has given me immense joy, and I think it changes from younger years where you're trying to get relationships and going out and dancing and doing all this stuff, and then when you settle, it's straight people call it settling down. You settle down a bit into the relationship and the love that you have for the other person is
we all
important as well.
I know in our group, our circle, our cohort, we all admire the love that you two have, and it's aspirational.
Did you have any extra things, Bartley? Because we have to go to a song now soon. But
No, I just reinforce that I'm looking out for joy in everything,
okay.
every interaction. If I'm on the tram and I see people being kind to each other, that gives me great joy. And
Yep.
when people offer me their seat these days, that gives, and I gratefully accept it. That brings a smile to my face, a bit of joy. Yeah.
That's a great segue to the next section, because we're going to talk about sources of joy. Have they changed over our lives?
Still Here, Still Queer, providing fun, insight and resources for our rainbow elders.
And you are on Still Here, Still Queer. And tonight we're talking about joy. not the radio station, the emotion of joy. Because as we grow older, we tend to get joy in different ways from different things. And one of the things we're going to talk about, one of the things we talked about before was friends often help our getting joy, and the people who walk alongside us through life often shape our joy. And so we're looking at sources of joy now. What is it that actually gives you joy? And we've got a wonderful panel here, Robert Gibson and Bartley McGowan, to help with the process of talking about it. And so, Bartley first this time. What is the source of joy that brings you joy right now in these years of your life?
I think nature. I absolutely love getting out into nature, looking at trees and plants and rivers, mountains. That gives me incredible joy and grounds me. I've just recently spent 2 weeks up in Brisbane, and a large part of that was out on the Brisbane River and going to their botanic gardens and other little parks around Brisbane and the suburbs. And it still surprises me how much joy I get from nature. Running water, really very soothing for my soul and gives me joy.
And so often when you're young, you run through nature, I think. I remember going on bushwalks and doing all that stuff.
Oh, yes.
And you're running to get to a place.
Yes.
You're going to get to the next place.
Yeah.
That was the young me trying to get places. Now, if I walk in nature, I stop and look and listen and notice.
Yes. Yes, I did that just a couple of days ago in the Mount Coot-tha Botanic Gardens up there in Brisbane. We went for a little walk around the lake with my friend Helen, and we stopped a lot and looked and absorbed it all. Yeah, it was really good. And quite frankly, I have to stop because with my aging process, I know you're going to talk about that later.
Yes,
I can no longer sprint.
We're going to talk about that for sure.
I can no longer sprint around a lake, so I really need to go slow, and that's a really good thing for me.
Yeah. So nature naturally does that to us by slowing our bodies down and allowing us to do that too. Yeah. What about you, Robert? What are your sources of joy at the moment?
I think they all come from the one source, and that's my friendship base.
Okay.
As I mentioned earlier, having that is my wealth. It's also the way that I journey in my queer travelling, the highs and the lows of being queer. Having a very good friendship base allows me to do all those things. I love the way that Bartley mentions walking in nature, but you can do that with your friends as well. And I know that you and I, Peter, got a lot of joy out of visiting Scandinavia and Iceland last year. And
travelling with your friends also.
So everything can be based back to a friendship group. And if you have a friendship group, I can't implore it enough to younger gay listeners that, first of all, you'll get there. Eventually you'll have this strength that comes from a wider group of people that inherently gives you strength, gives you confidence, gives you, yes, there is meaning to being queer. And if you are surrounded by like-minded queer people, I think that you can go to your grave with confidence.
And you mentioned friends and people, and the difference is really when you're younger. I don't know, what do you think? What's the difference? When you're younger, friends are different. They're more like casual acquaintances. I had hundreds of casual acquaintances when I was young, and I didn't have very many close friends because I wasn't out and I was stuck in the closet still. I didn't have a chance to go into a relationship with people. So I had all these people there. There were lots of them, but I don't know how many of them are still in my life, really. Not many.
I think
some.
Mine was more hedonistic because I was out.
Right.
So therefore, and especially pre-AIDS, it meant that I could be hedonistic, and sexual experiences were brief, anonymous, sometimes very self-centered and very just about satisfying your own new sexual awakening as you become more and more confident with your sexuality.
And that's something that a lot of queer people do have lots and lots of short-term relationships, don't they? Or short-term sexual encounters when they're younger. But by the time you get to our age, to me, it's less important than it was back then. Now it's much more important to have a loving relationship for me. So what about you? What about you both? I know neither of you are in a relationship, so I'm curious about what I'm curious about what fulfills that need to have a relationship.
Yes, I listen to a lot of podcasts about gay stuff and queer stuff and relationships, and a theme that I've picked up recently is that even though young people today have this incredible freedom of sexual exploration and all that, but the feedback from all these young people is that it's very empty, sexually satisfying, but emotionally very empty. I think there's a longing, even in the younger years, to really establish connection of some sort. And yeah, I was surprised that theme comes through so readily. I thought all young people were happy and sex crazy and all that, but no, they're not.
I think they're kind of looking for their next bonk.
I think it's hard to generalise because there still is always a percentage of where gratification is an important part of
no judgment on that at all.
Sexuality.
Yeah.
I know that was important for me. I know it's frivolous. I know it's self-serving, but to some people, that then is a way to draw in a friendship group, even though it's flippant and no substance. It can turn into substance. Like I know that sexual experience, one having it, I was blessed in that I was out and I surrounded myself with other out people. So therefore, and especially there's two definite eras here, guys. There's pre and post AIDS. Pre-AIDS had its own liberating parameters. Once AIDS hit the scene, the whole ball game changed. So whether you grew into it in a mature way into sex is not as important, or whether it was forced on you because of a pandemic, because of what do they call AIDS? Not a pandemic, it was an epidemic.
Epidemic, yeah.
So I think that's a bookend in definitely in my life. I know it was forced to change because of this epidemic.
Okay. And we've had a message in from Grant. Do you want to read it out, Robert?
My joys are very simple: a good book, good music, and drawing. Good on you, Grant.
Fantastic. And that's interesting. So many older people I know read a lot more when they get older as well. Is that true for you too as well? I listen actually to audiobooks, but
I have to say, I can't read. Isn't that awful? I did a degree in English literature. It killed reading for me.
Right.
But I'm very envious of people that read, and I can see the joy and pleasure they get from that. So I hope one day I can get back on the reading horse.
Yep.
I'm trying to get back into books, but like Bartley, journalism killed reading, or certainly impacted in my leisure time activities. Because of my career, 39 years with words, mucked it a bit. But I'm finding...
And you wrote a book, of course. But
yeah, and that was a nightmare. 10 years of very hard work.
Yeah.
So I guess you go, and I'm probably a bit lazy, I go, I'm a one-book person. Anyway, that's not really relevant, but reading, I envy people who are reading. And I must admit, I really like that the younger gay community or the younger queer community have things like Heated Rivalry and Heartstopper and all these other great shows that are positive and affirming. And I'm now reading, ironically, I bought the books for Heated Rivalry. I think that for her to be able to write from a female perspective, such intimate accounts of love between queer people is extraordinary. So that piqued my interest. How is she able to do that? So I'll read her books and then I'll find out, hopefully.
So you are reading a bit, yeah. But you mentioned also all the TV shows and the movies that are around now. They have changed. I get lots and lots of joy from watching queer movies and go to the Queer Film Festival and the Melbourne International Film Festival to watch a lot of queer movies and see what's happening as well. And I know when you look around the crowd in that festival, there's a lot of older queer people there. So I guess people get joy from that too. What about you, Bartley?
Yes, I talked about nature before, but I also get a lot of joy from theatre and music and art. So there's incredible joy and pleasure in seeing a beautiful, rich piece of theatre that really provokes you and challenges you.
Yep.
And music, of course, is a great love for all of us, I think.
Yes.
Yes.
And you, Robert?
I don't want to harp back to it, but it sounds a bit preachy, but I'm really glad that the current queer community has the availability of queer content, whether it be reading, whether it be friends. It's the whole, I think, the liberation of the gay liberation has meant that the next generation has it a tiny bit easier than the generation before, and that's a good thing.
Fantastic. All right, we've got another message in. Do you want to read that? Bartley?
I'll have to lean over. Where is it, please, Robert? It's from Damien. We are not going anywhere, you gorgeous and fabulous mature age chaps.
Woohoo!
Is that right? Over 70 is the new normal. Such a great program, and thanks, loves, for your voices and wisdom and joy for life. And that's from Damien. Thank you, Damien.
Love to you, Damien, and thanks very much for sending in that fabulous text message as well. Supportive one. And tonight you are on Still Here, Still Queer, and it is Robert, Bartley and Pete, all a group of over 70 males, and we're all talking, they're all grimacing over there. No, be out and proud about it. And we're talking about joy as we get older, not the radio station, the emotion. And one of the things that really struck me about that last discussion was that it's less about chasing and more about recognizing people. So recognizing things and being in nature and recognizing it rather than running around through it and chasing sex partners or becoming in relationship with people and building friendships. And also pets, I think, are part of that thing as well.
Very much so.
We get to love pets as we get older. As I was growing up, I loved motorcycling and going fast and riding around the countryside every weekend on my motorcycle. As I've got older, that's waned. And now we have a little dog, and we love Oscar, who's in the studio here with us. Woof, woof.
Does that mean I can never get my pillion ride with you?
No, I just said waning, not disappearing.
Okay. Can I please still have my ride before you totally shut it off?
And you've watched the movie Pillion, haven't you?
Yes, twice. I don't want to be on the back of a bike for that reason only. I need you to keep an interest in riding.
I am, definitely.
So you promise?
Yes.
On air, in front of all
I'll
these
promise.
listeners?
I'll promise to allow you to sit on the back and come for a ride.
Thank you.
I'll make you, you'll probably scream.
I don't scream. Often.
All right. The next topic for our exploration of joy is our changing bodies and how we adjust to that and what that does to the joy that we feel in life. Before we go to that, though, we might read out the latest message we've got. Do you want to do it?
Yes,
Robert?
of course. Is it my turn?
Yes, it is your turn.
Thank you, Bartley. You're such a gentleman. The older I get, it seems that it's simple things that provide joy. A good movie, book, jigsaw puzzle, walk in the park, spending time with friends, listening to the radio. Great show tonight, fellas. It's brought a lot of joy to me. Love, Patsy. Back to you, Patsy.
Yes, thanks, Patsy, for that lovely message. And radio does bring joy to people. Now, what about our bodies? Who wants to go first? We all know what happens to them, but we talk about that in relation to what happens with joy as we're going through our bodies becoming less able, shall we say. Yeah.
Yes, I've got a very good example of that. I've always had lung disease and been an asthmatic all my life, but just in the last 2 years, I'd say my respiratory system has really collapsed a little bit. So it's been an enormous restriction on the things that would normally bring me joy, like going for long hikes. And but now I can't do that. But how I accommodate it is by breaking it down into small chunks and just doing very small sections of a walk. Or if I'm going to the theatre, I also have fatigue issues. If I'm going to the theatre, I always have a nap before the show so that I can keep my interest and alertness through the performance. But the breathing is a big thing. It really is a big thing. I hadn't realised how much we all rely on good lungs, and when you don't have it, it totally restricts everything. But as I said, adjust. Yeah, I went to a dance party, for example, recently, as you and Tim know. and I knew I couldn't stay out for 10 hours or 8 hours or whatever, but I stayed for 2 hours, and 2 hours was more than enough. I picked up the whole vibe of the place and was very happy to leave at 2 a.m. instead of 6 a.m. So you can do things. You can still do things. You just need to adjust and accommodate, I believe.
And allow more sleep, it sounds like.
And more sleep, much more sleep, yes.
Yeah, nano naps.
Come
to us as we get older. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. What about you, Rob?
I really have trouble with the sedentary transition to life. I mentally feel like I'm still 18, so I could do the 8 hours all night at a dance party, but obviously my body won't let me. So I am perhaps not as on top of it as you are, partly. I regret that as you get older, you become more sedentary and you can't do a lot of the things that your brain wants to do. That I find frustrating. So that doesn't bring me joy. I know that's not part of the discussion this evening, but the opposite to that is that I'm still here and I survived the AIDS to still be here and have health. But it is a change. Your body changing is something that is very personal, and you have to come to terms with and then fit in your ideas. Oh, hi, Oscar. Oscar's nudging me. Oscar wants some attention. Come here, buddy. Yes, so that's my thoughts on it. It is frustrating. I wish I could be more positive, but I hope people come to terms as they gradually grow old gracefully. I know I did with my hair. I let it fall out and didn't wear a wig or have implants. So is that a plus?
Yes, there's not many.
Is that joyful?
There's not many hairs on the top of any of our heads here.
It's a fashion.
Yeah, we like to think it that way. The younger people do it now. Shave everything.
They realise how gorgeous we are, so we're following a trend.
Absolutely.
That we set.
And I guess for me, it's walking slows down, which I always used to walk fast everywhere and try and get places and things like that. And my walking slowed down quite a bit. And everyone passes me now. And it's taken me a while to get used to that, but I just take it for granted that my legs can't move as fast as they used to.
I think that's funny because I consider you a fast walker.
You should have seen me years ago.
My God, I never would have been able to keep up with you. It's a struggle.
I did win some sprint medals at school.
Oh, did you?
But that was way back.
You're an athlete.
Yeah.
It's a side I didn't know.
Yeah. I think also that thing about athleticism is much more important for younger people than it is for older people. We're into other things, like you mentioned the arts earlier and theatre, etc., partly, and I know that I'm very into going to the theatre with friends and having breakfasts with friends and brunches and things like that and dinner. So it's not athleticism anymore, it's artistic athleticism. It's artistic things that people have done, like ideas, books, music. I love music, I love video, I love film, and learning about others and what's happened. So has that happened for you as well?
So I think as you lose your physicality an ability to be physical, even though your brain wants to. There is so much out there that one can entertain yourself and be joyful. I know that I'm blessed that I've been able to retire, and I know that I find many joyful experiences in being retired. But that's sad for a lot of, I have an eclectic group of friends. They aren't all my age. So the younger people are still travelling in that road. And in fact, in our cohort, we have several members who are still yet to attain that panacea of retirement. And we're cheering them on. Yay, it's really good when you get there. Let me tell you.
One sitting in the room here.
And we have another dear friend who's about to get there. So I think it's that there's two sides to the coin. You can adapt once you start losing your mobility, and you can then find new paths and new journeys that bring joy.
And speaking of journeys, travel is a thing that a lot of older people do, if they have the means, of course, to go overseas and tick off bucket lists that people have got. I know that I have been, and you probably have been too, because you've been there for some of them, going to Scandinavia and flying places to tick off bucket lists. That seeing the fjords was my one.
I think retirement helps that much more.
Yeah.
In that you have time and you don't have to crash it all into a smaller time frame if you're working. I know that sometimes we have to rush back to accommodate your husband, who's still out there in the treadmill. But I'm pushing really hard to get him off it externally.
Yep.
And can I say, even though I stayed home and don't travel for health reasons, these boys kindly did daily vlogs, and Robert, being a journalist, provided beautiful texts of these Scandinavian adventures. So I felt I've been to Iceland and Norway too, which was really lovely.
You are so kind. Really, you're one of the kindest people I've ever met.
Stop it, Robert.
Okay, we've been flooded with text messages. What have we said? Who wants to read a couple of them?
Okay, I'm leaning over here into Robert's lap. That one there. How lovely, like ages on a community radio get-together. Love it. With thanks. If I just don't look in the mirror, all is good. Robbie from the Peninsula.
Thank you, Robbie.
Thank you, Robbie.
Yes,
but keep looking in the mirror.
Yeah, absolutely.
And embrace what.
And
please.
Robert, do you want to read the next one?
If you click it, I will. Beautiful men, thanks for your truth and vulnerability. I love listening to your voices. Thanks, Damien.
Thank you, Damien.
Aren't you sweet?
Actually, your voices stay pretty good as you get older, don't they?
One of the few things. Do you want to do one, Pete? Your turn.
Yeah, we'll do another one. Hi, Pete, Robert, and Bartles. So good listening to you all, and your views on joy. Having you all as good friends, spending time together, and doing the simple things like going out for coffee or walking with Oscar, the dog, and just enjoying your company. Love you all. From Lou. Fantastic. Thank you, Lou. We love you all. We love you too. Lou is a good example of, Lou is not part of the queer community, but she's part of our friendship group.
She's an ally.
She's
absolutely the biggest ally I've ever met. Biggest as in love.
Yeah. And it's so great to spend time with her as well, going out for coffee, walking Oscar, the dog that's in the studio and everything. Thank you for all your love, Lou. We really appreciate it. I do appreciate it, and probably you too.
I want to say thanks, Lou, for sharing my pet name with the audience. So everyone now knows that I'm also called Bartles. Thanks, Lou.
Thank God, Lou, you didn't mention mine. I owe you one, darling.
Still here, still queer. We'll tell you what to do.
We won't really. But this is the last segment of our show on joy, a bit of a discussion panel. And this question is, how has your experience of joy as a queer person evolved over the years? And what advice would you give to your younger selves?
My queer joy has really exploded in the last couple of years, I would have to say. So I'm feeling much more comfortable about being gay. I've marched in the Pride Parade, which is a really big thing for me to do the last couple of years, twice. Yeah. And yeah, so that brings me enormous pleasure and joy that I'm stepping into my own personhood. Up in Brisbane, I was at a conference and someone made a comment about me being gay, and normally I'd be quite challenged by that. But in this case, yeah, I just totally embraced it. It was really good.
It's fantastic.
And advice to young me, please try and come out earlier, please.
All right, we've only got a minute or so left. Robert.
Okay, I back up Bartley. Come out if you can at all. Just bring yourself, push it, and I promise you that life begins at coming out. And you can't really be yourself until you've come out. You can't be you without coming out and admitting that you're part of this community, which has open arms waiting for you.
Yep, fantastic way to end. And I guess it's joy shows up all through your life. It's a good thing tonight that we remind you that it doesn't actually fade with age. It evolves. It becomes quite different to what it was in our youth. And that's it for the show tonight. Thanks, Robert and Bartley, for being here tonight and for the robust discussion. See you next week. Bye.
Don't miss The Devil Wears Prada 2 in cinemas.
Miranda, hi.
Pull yourself together. We have work to do. And by we, I mean you.
Meryl Streep, Anne Hathaway, Emily Blunt, and Stanley Tucci are back
Oh, dee-dod.
on April 30.
Look what TJ Maxx dragged in.
I am the new features editor at Runway.
No, you are not.
Icons reign forever.
Kids. Wait. I hope to God that's not what you're wearing to the dinner. That's all.
Get tickets now. The Devil Wears Prada 2, only in cinemas April 30. Directed by David Frankel.
This podcast is brought to you by Australia's LGBTQIA+ community media organisation, Joy.